Mr. Mark, is President Trump eligible to run for president again in 2028?
Senator, without considering all the facts and looking at everything, depending on what the situation is, this to me strikes as more of a hypothetical of something that could be.
It's not a hypothetical. Has President Trump been elected president twice?
President Trump has been certified the President of the United States 2 times.
Is he eligible to run for a 3rd term?
A U.S. Senator asks a basic question about the Constitution. And suddenly, nobody wants to answer. In this exchange, Chris Coons lays it out. The 22nd Amendment is clear, 2 terms. That's it. So he asks the obvious. Can Donald Trump run again? What follows? Hesitation. Deflection. I'd have to review. Then Coons drops it. This isn't hypothetical. And still, no one in the room will say it out loud. So now the question is, if they won't apply the Constitution when it's this clear, when will they? Let's get into it.
Chair. Thank you, Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley, and to each of you and your families, congratulations. And thank you for raising your hand to serve and in some cases continuing to serve the public.
Thank you.
Mr. Mark, if I might, just tell me about the 22nd Amendment. What does it provide?
The 22nd Amendment, Senator, my career has mostly been in criminal prosecution. I haven't had an opportunity to use that one specifically.
Anyone able to help on the 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution?
Senator, I believe it is the amendment that deals with a 2-term limitation on
Correct.
the service
It
of the
states
president.
no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Mr. Mark, is President Trump eligible to run for president again in 2028?
Senator, without considering all the facts and looking at everything, depending on what the situation is, this to me strikes as more of a hypothetical of something that could be.
It's not a hypothetical. Has President Trump been elected president twice?
President Trump has been certified the President of the United States 2 times.
Is he eligible to run for a 3rd term under our Constitution?
I would have to review the
All I need to tell you
wording of
is
it.
the language of the constitutional amendment that makes it clear that no, he is not eligible to run for a 3rd term. Anybody else brave enough to say that the Constitution of the United States prevents President Trump from seeking a 3rd term? Anybody willing to apply the Constitution by its plain language in the 22nd Amendment? Nobody. All right, let's move on. Mr. Coons, what is res judicata? How does it apply?
It's a judicial doctrine that prevents a judgment that has been, in one case, it applies to you can't go into court after a final judgment in one case and have it and litigate the same things again.
How is that distinct from collateral estoppel, which precludes litigating the same things?
Res judicata, one involves the same party, the other involves the same things.
And what's a requirement for these 2 doctrines to apply?
Notice, opportunity to be heard, final judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction.
Anyone disagree? If I might, Mr. Coons, is it pronounced the same way mine is?
Yes, it
Coons?
is. Yes, Senator.
My family's name was spelled that way when we came to the country. So, you were one of 3 judges on the panel in Alexander v. Trump, where the president was suing the Pulitzer Prize Board for defamation. When did your work on that case begin? When were you assigned this case to decide?
I first learned of that case in approximately January of 2025.
Not when the briefs had been filed?
No, Senator. The way it works in our court is we are not assigned cases when the briefs are filed. Once the case is ready for disposition, the clerk randomly assigns it to the judges in the court.
And when did you first speak to Senator Scott's office about your interest in a district court seat in the Southern District of Florida?
I mean, I've had many conversations with Senator Scott's office. The one about an interest in the Southern District of Florida, I believe, was in November of 2024. I don't know the date, but it's in my Senate Judiciary questionnaire.
And when did you release the opinion ruling in President Trump's favor in this matter?
So I learned of the case in January of 2025, and the opinion was released in, I believe it was February 12th, 2025.
That's correct. So you issued an opinion where one of the litigants before you was the president and in favor of the president while you were in active conversation with the senator's office about seeking a federal judicial appointment. Is that correct?
For a position I did not, in fact, get, Senator.
How did you end up in front of me today?
It's a different position, Senator.
Did you consider recusing yourself from that particular decision?
No, and the canons that govern us in Florida, Senator, as I believe this committee has previously heard, it did not call for me to recuse myself. I did not have an interest in the litigation, and none of the basis called for recusal, and the Florida Supreme Court instructs us, the appellate judges, that we are not to recuse unless one of the bases in Canon 3 exists.
Does the Florida canons not require you to recuse if one of the parties before you has an interest that could be reasonably concluded by any common citizen to cloud your judgment on that matter?
Senator, I disagree with that characterization. I had not heard from the White House until after the opinion was final. I had only spoken.
When did you interview with the White House counsel's office?
At the end of February of 2025. I don't know the date, but I believe it's in my Senate Judiciary questionnaire.
Thank you for your testimony on that matter. Mr. Hendershot, if you would just take a minute and talk me through again how collateral estoppel and res judicata are different from each other.
Senator, I'm not sure I can improve much on Judge Coons. I think that often res judicata today is used as sort of a catch-all term, but generally I think the difference is between claims and claims that may have not been brought but could have been brought potentially.
Right.
So collateral estoppel and res judicata is more a thing actually decided, as the Latin would suggest.
Thank you. Do you agree that judges should not be influenced by external pressure to rule in any particular way?
Yes, Senator, I do.
President Trump stated March of this year at a public event, quote, "We have rogue judges that are criminals. They're criminals, what they do to our country, the decisions they hand down and hurt our country. Is it possible for a judge's decision to be correct as a matter of fact and law, even if it differs from the president's desired outcome?"
Senator, I want to tread carefully because of Canon 5 in terms of commenting on political matters. But in the abstract, yes, decisions can be correct, and any citizen can criticize what a judge has done. That is, I think, part of their right to speak.
Thank you. Thank you all for your testimony.
Yeah. Mr.
What you just watched is a moment where the law is clear, but the answers aren't. Chris Coons starts with something basic, the 22nd Amendment. No person can be elected president more than twice. That's not ambiguous. That's the text. So when he asks whether Donald Trump could run again after already being elected twice, this shouldn't be complicated. But instead of a direct answer, the witnesses hesitate. You hear phrases like, "I'd have to review." "It depends." That's hypothetical. And Coons cuts through it. This isn't hypothetical. It's a plain reading question. That's the key tension in this exchange. Because when the issue is technical, like residential judicata or collateral estoppel, the answers come quickly and confidently. But when it touches something politically sensitive, everything slows down. That contrast is the story. Then there's the second layer, judicial ethics. A judge rules on a case involving Trump while also being in conversations about a federal appointment. Coons presses on recusal. The answer, the rules didn't require it. But here's the bigger issue. In law, it's not just about actual bias, it's about the appearance of bias. And that's where the discomfort comes in. Now zoom out. This wasn't just about one amendment or one case. It was about something broader. Will legal professionals apply the Constitution plainly? Or will they default to caution when the stakes are political? That's what made this moment stick. Not what was unclear, but what was avoided. If you want more breakdowns that cut through the noise and show you what's really happening in these hearings, hit subscribe. Like the video so more people see it, and share it, because most people never catch these moments. And drop your take below. Was Chris Coons exposing a real problem, or were the witnesses just being careful? Let's talk.